Good morning, guys. Sorry for not starting at 9 a.m. exactly. I've noticed that the older you get, the louder you sneeze. So I didn't want to sneeze on the microphone. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is July 12th, 2024. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Guard Capital. Glad to be with you this morning, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Amal, for saying good morning. Appreciate those notes. You guys are great. Love having you on board. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Just a heads up, this weekend we'll have our weekly recaps. Sunday is going to be a lot of soccer. So, more than likely, I'll post it on Saturday because my team, Colombia, is going to play on Sunday night. And I want to say this with the kindest words possible. I am definitely not going to be near my phone or my office for that game. So, definitely going to be enjoying the soccer match. But Saturday, we'll get those videos out to you. So, just wanted to give that heads up. Thanks again for all your support as always. Let's go ahead and get to it. Dow futures are up 78 points. We did have the CPI number today. PPI number. With the CPI number yesterday, we talked about that. But PPI came out today. That was hotter than expected. Let's go over the number rather quickly. And here is the live market blog on our Discord server. So let's get to it. All right. Here is the producer price index, or PPI. 0.2% month over month versus the estimate of up 0.1%. So again, that's a hotter than expected reading. 2.6% year over year. Estimate 2.3%. So year over year went up. Month over month was up. But yet, not tons of volatility. The VIX is down 2.71%. Gold is down. Silver's down. So what gives, and I wrote a note about that. These inflation readings are going to have less and less effect on markets moving forward. We know the Fed is going to cut rates. Duh. That's pretty much set. CPI being negative, which was yesterday, is a good excuse for them to get started. So if you're expecting this limit up, we're up 500 points on the Nasdaq because of a good reading, or down 500 points on the Nasdaq because we had a bad reading. Yesterday, yes, it was an ugly day, but you're just not going to get that kind of volatility. 2022 and 2023 was very inflation focused. What's going to be the focus now? That's pretty much what's the next narrative. The next narrative, at least for the next couple of weeks, guys, is going to be corporate earnings. We just had earnings come out for a couple of names. Citibank beat, and they are up, well, as of 8 this morning, is up 2.12%. Wells Fargo down, and JP Morgan is rather flat, but some positive commentary regarding mergers and acquisitions. That's important to banks, guys, because that's where they make their money. Investment banking, trading, hedge fund stuff. They're not making a lot of money off the retail side of banking. Like your savings account, your checking account, your CDs. That's not the bread and butter of Chase. The bread and butter of Chase is high net worth individuals, investment banking, mergers and acquisitions, underwriting IPOs. So anytime we get a bull market, we'll start seeing a little bit more IPOs as we get along. Right now, we're just not getting there. But with lower rates coming in the forefront, September, November, again, money's going to be a little cheaper, and that's going to help the Russell, small caps. So let's go ahead and watch or take a look at small caps as of yesterday. So again, we talked about that bull flag. Nice pop, breaking above the high. So that's very, very important. Now the question is, how high can we go, right? So let's go ahead and place an alert about 2210 on RTY or Russell. So we're about 50 points away. What I wanted was to see if we can retest 2147. That's that fib line there, and that's the highs from April. And we did, technically speaking. You can see very close there after the PPI number. Now we're getting a little bit of a slide, not too big of a deal. We'll take a look at NASDAQ next. So for those who are either traded IWM, Masterclass and I traded IWM yesterday. That was a great trade. The only regret is I didn't send that as a signal. I felt that it was a little just too risky after the move, but IWM was a great trade. It was actually quick. We filled it at 9:58 yesterday. It was regarding the breakout to 210. I wish I held. I did not. So that's going to suck. But again, you could see we're starting to pull back below that now. So let's see it. So if you have on the hourly, that pullback, right, on that fib level, you can see that we're not getting that number on the daily. So we're right around here. We're still above that breakout level. The question is, do we hold there? And if we do, could we play a bounce? And if we do play a bounce, how high can we go? Let me see if I can get the weekly chart. Remember, this is IWM, not Russell, two different things. So you could see very similar to that retest of those of that Fibonacci level. I'm so sorry because it's completely a different chart. But 213.26, we're right there. That is where you are. So we want to kind of hold that. If we can hold around there, kind of create a base, 225, 220 would be your next target. So IWM will be on the watch list this week, guys. So just a little preview. I'll talk about it in more detail on the weekly video. So we'll take a look at some volume. Let's see how the weekly candle closes. We'll get that today. And we'll go from there, guys. So let's take a look at NASDAQ rather quickly. And a big move down. NASDAQ was absolutely nuked. Sucks when you have tech stocks, right? I mean, who doesn't these days? And here is the very, very, very key. And this is opportunity, guys, because that's a big red candle. And those big red candles, at least since the last 2 years, hasn't really stayed that way in terms of, consistently over time, like over a month, for example. The last time we got there was the end of 2023. But in 2024, we haven't had those kind of big pullbacks and sustained downside. It's been bought every time. So, with that being said, knowing what we know, 391 to 400, that is the June highs. So if we hold that, and we did, we retested and bounced. Now we bounced again. We're starting to see some demand there. 20,400. We're 43 points off. That's going to be that key area. If that breaks, which we wicked after PPI, you have the 20-day moving average right here at 202. If you break that, it's not too much of a concern. We haven't been below that since really June, mid June, or actually the beginning of June. So it's not a huge deal, in my opinion. I just see this as opportunity because these kind of slow melt ups are kind of a pain to trade sometimes. So you kind of want some volatility. Obviously, VIX is down. But again, retesting that high, that resistance here, just got to hold that. I'm looking for a break of 20,500. If we can break that, let's go to the hourly. If we can get above that 503, we can target 665. Again, the higher NASDAQ goes, 100 points is not a big deal as it used to be, especially as the price goes up. So let's keep that in our back pocket. Again, RTY in focus, IWM in focus, NASDAQ in focus if you're a Forex trader. Let's take a look at NVIDIA because I got hit on that. NVIDIA was green pre-market, guys, 9 a.m., and then we just got the flush. Again, that was just the post CPI rotation where tech stocks were sold and Russell was bought small cap. So we didn't get a flight of capital out of the market. The contrary, it was just selling of profitable winning tech, AI, and that's what happened. You get that rotation into IWM. They get that money into the Russell, which is more value at this point relative to NASDAQ. So I placed a note also on the live market blog. And again, the live market blog is a way to communicate with those who aren't clients as well. Just those who are just interested in markets. This is free, guys, the live market blog on Discord. And I went ahead and posted question of the day. What happened to tech? Wasn't CPI good news? Why the rotation into small caps? Is this a start of a trend or is it just a blip? Take a look at that research note or just a note by me and make your own conclusions, of course. 130, that's what we need on NVIDIA. We are green pre-market barely. We do have at 10 a.m. a consumer sentiment report. That's from the University of Michigan. That's an inflation reading. If the CPI number is to be taken at face value, this consumer sentiment report should be a little better. So we do have one more catalyst, at least by the end of the session, as we go into the very important earnings season that we are just getting into. There we go. July 15th, that's next week. We have Goldman Sachs on Monday, United Health on Tuesday, Bank of America on Tuesday, Tesla next Wednesday. That's going to be fun. Taiwan Semiconductor, that's on the 18th. On Thursday, Netflix as well, American Express on Friday. Very fun. And then the week after, the 22nd, you got Meta, Alphabet, Visa, Coca-Cola, Verizon, MasterCard, Unilever, ExxonMobil, Chevron. I mean, Chipotle, post-split, first earnings. AT&T. So we got some names coming up. No Apple, no Amazon. We know not yet, but a couple of tech stocks will start reporting, and there's a lot to prove. I mean, You got to look at the multiples now, valuations on stocks. Are they worth the current price? And that's what earnings is going to tell us. Two things with earnings, guys. The most important thing, the reaction, obviously, we can't predict that. And number two will be the guidance. The guidance. Again, all earnings is always in the past. That's already done. That's already priced in. We got to see the guidance moving forward. Are sales going higher? What's the expectation from the executives, the people on the ground that are working the companies? That's going to be the hint moving forward. So, again, we'll be ready either way. We'll look at our charts. We'll look at some of these names that are reporting. We'll do the Goldman Sachs chart together. That's at all-time highs. And we'll get you prepped this weekend. So I know I don't have a limited time here on YouTube. People have lives on a Friday. I get it. Let's answer some questions. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Square. Square's finally coming around. Well, you're right near the 50-day. This is a tough one. So I'm going to place an alert at 67.78. Is that above it now? Almost. So I'll just remove it. Really, the alert I have is 72.60 because that's above the 100-day. If we can get above there, I have this target here, the gap of 80. So Square has a little more to prove to us, but the good news is that this is going to move higher with lower rates because it's high beta. Good morning, Jeremy. Since tech got cycled out yesterday, what's your take on QQQ and levels to watch? Great. Let's look at it. Still within this channel here on Qs. I mean, nothing has changed. Just rejected what 503. That's the top, at least short term. And you can see right here, this is the high from June. So really, that's going to be your support. Actually, you know what? Let's make this even easier. We're going to do drawing tools. We're going to go to dollar sign. And you see that wick right there? That's your highs for June. And we're going to use that as our support. Previous resistance becomes what team? Support. So edited properties will show price on the left. 489.43, that is your support moving forward. Again, that's June highs. And we broke above it on the 3rd of July. Do we get that retest, which we got pretty close pre-market? And we're bouncing right now, right off the 200 MA on the 1 hour. I expect QQQ to get a relief bounce today. Again, even with that PPI being a little hotter than expected, it is seasonally strong for stocks the first 2 weeks of the year. We're not done with the first 2 weeks. I would say yesterday was more of a blip than anything else. That's what I placed the note on. Again, if we start breaking 49.43 on Qs or we start breaking some support, yes, we'll have that conversation and we can short to 482. No problem. We got the 20-day moving average, yada, yada. But look at the past year, past 7 months. It's been rather resilient. And we've had headlines. I mean, Ukraine, Russia, war in Gaza, Israel, Iran, you name it. There's been headlines everywhere. And the little stock market that could go just keeps going. So, again, we're just looking for opportunities to play bounces because it is a bull market. And if we break support, we'll short. Spying QQQ 0DT. No, I'm not doing that. For that, I'd rather go to a slot machine. At least you get free drinks. So let's just leave the 0DTEs for some other time, maybe some lotto tickets. But right now, what we're looking for in terms of SPY, your support here will be 551. Or you can use 555. That is the, well, I wouldn't say that. I would say the June highs right here at 550. So 550 is your next support, kind of similar to what we got in Nasdaq right there. And we can go ahead and edit properties and we'll put the left side as the price. 551.05, we'll use that as support on SPY moving forward in order to break above the 161.8 fib. 562, the extension from 2022 lows right there. Now, it would be a little different if we did the COVID lows, but we're just doing the last 3 years based on this fib level. Rejected kind of cleanly. The question is, do we get above it? I would not trade SPY until you break 561.55 to the upside. Meta keeps dipping. Yeah, well, all tech fell yesterday. All the winners fell yesterday. That's just how it goes, profit taking. What are the levels to watch? I have a level at 488.26. That is going to be our kind of our first level of support. But other than that, kind of held the 20-day on Meta, but it is at 500 currently. The question remains, does it tag 488? And if it does, you do have one slight gap to fill at 479. So we'll use that gap here, 479, as our major support, unless you're planning to short it to 480 right now. I got to see how the put volumes are right now. But again, it's going to be very crucial to see the weekly close as well. Look at this on the weekly. You're still above major moving averages. You're above the 20 MA on the weekly. If you break below that, could be trouble. But we were below that all of April. Remember, April was pretty bad as well, and we bounced as well. Let's see, Amazon. Just like pretty much everything else in tech, just pulled back and still kind of holding up that trend. Let's go to the daily. Got a trend line here, still holding up above the 20-day. Again, 20 days are short-term momentum indicator. And then you still have this upward resistance, still at 207.77. Still had this triangle breakout or wedge, whatever you want to call it. And it's just tagging the top end of that. It is down about 20 cents this morning. Again, Nasdaq's just kind of flat. Let's see what 10 a.m. brings with that sentiment indicator. We still got a week, but yesterday was not ideal, obviously. It's just one of those days you're just like, oh, God, you just have to live with it. Tesla reports next week. Remember that. That's going to be key if you're trying to trade it. 231.49 is my short-term support. Let's go to the daily. Again, 260 was a level that I was targeting, was hoping for 280, but it rejected. And you still have a gap to fill at 231.49. And you got another one here at 213. The real money level you're watching is 224. That is the retest of this downward channel. Just the top end. We need a hold above that. All of this beyond that was all that short squeeze. All we expected, guys, was to stay within here. That's it. Just stay within that channel. But breaking out of it was nice to see. But more than likely, we'll probably see a gap fill as it is just overbought. 231.49. That's the level we're looking for. If you're trading the options on Tesla, they're very expensive. So just be careful. Besides IWM, what are the 3 setups you are eyeing? Oof. I'll go over that this weekend because right now I'm kind of facing the clock as I still have to do the pre-market plan for our members. Holding Amazon till July 19th expiry. Well, I got to see how we open today, obviously. Starbucks or LVS? Let's see Starbucks. I gotta expand this one a little more. Yeah. Still holding out that 70 level on Starbucks. Interesting enough. So until that breaks, that'd probably be the only time I'd short. Again, it's still breaking down and below this major trend line. It is up about 40 cents though. Let's see. Las Vegas Sands. It's dead money for a minute, at least on the annual chart. Next support right around 40. So again, if you break 40, you're going to just hang around that same 2022 chop that we had that summer. If you go to the hourly, it's downward trend, but it's kind of breaking out here a little bit. I think they report earnings as well, so I'd wait on them. We still good with Palantir? Yeah, Palantir hasn't really changed. That one has more time, and it's been very good to us. Just consolidating here. I mean, I can't say that it's bearish here because it's still holding up this top end support. Got 2 levels of support here, still above the the 20-day moving average. Listen, all tech got hit yesterday. If you had the word AI in your prospectus, you pretty much got whacked in the head. It just happens. And bro, when we update TOS of the 21st century, GGMU. Yes. Glory, glory, Man United. Indeed. Yeah. Well, TOS is now with Charles Schwab. I like it. I dig it. Would you buy the dip on silver? How would the trend rate cuts in September? Hope if Powell's not a let's see it. It's SLV. You know what? Yeah, we'll do SLV. 3014. Still need that. It just rejected it. So again, it doesn't look terrible. I still think precious metals are going to go higher because the dollar is going to get weaker, but you're just not there yet. Break 30, and we can have that conversation. Let's take a look at GLD. GLD actually looks not half bad on the weekly chart. It's just consolidating here on the daily. It is down this morning, probably right around here. But if we break 225.66, we said this, I think, in 2024 this year and going into the year before. Lower rates, lower dollar, lower yields. I think it was lower rates, lower dollar, lower inflation. So far, it's worked out. 10-year treasury yields are up a little bit today, 4.208. But I like the precious metals as a trade going into the September cut. Absolutely. But we need that break of 25.66. It's hard to trade all-time highs. Let's call it what it is. But 225.66, we'll keep an eye on the volume. We can probably look at some September strike calls and play the run up. But that's what it's looking like for GLD. Stock in mind for small caps. I think if you're just trading small caps, trade IWM. You should add a free chat on your Discord. Yeah, that's going to be just a lot more work than it is. And we've had that before, and it just turned into a big spam fest. And then people get yelling at each other, and we're in a political season already. People already hate each other. So let's not make it worse than it has to be. At least with customer or clients who are in, they've already paid, and there's at least a sense of camaraderie because everyone's in the same page. And Citibank, yes, let's take a look at the banks after their earnings. 67.24 was my level. It just rejected it. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Again, upward trend. This is a name that I've been watching, and it's been a tough one to trade, but it's finally moving. And the earnings were great, but 67.24 needs to break, and then your next target is right around 69. So let's see how it does open. And then JPM, which has been a great stock this year. It is down about $2. Can't say that's too worrisome at the moment. Tough to trade it here. I mean, unless you're going to trade it to 210, we'd have to take a look at the volume. And Wells Fargo is down about $4 this morning. Big drop, but hitting some support right around 56. Go to the 4-hour chart. Yep. Just pretty much holding on to hold on at 55.77. But that's where we are. No problem. Now, Austin, this is public for everybody. So the idea is to try to get more channels or more ways to communicate with everybody, because I get it, man. I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about this stuff all day, but I do have to do server things, live market blog, answer questions. And I do have to give my attention to our customers, our clients, who obviously need help or have questions. We want to help them first. But YouTube is a way for for all of us to communicate together. And we'll do the video this weekend. Hopefully that'll answer some of your questions. If you have any questions, always type in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Thanks again for your time. Sorry if this ran a little too long. Go Colombia against Argentina. We need this W. England and Spain. My wife is Spaniard, half Spaniard, so go Spain. Sorry, my British friends. I love y'all. I love EPL, but go Spain. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys on the live market blog. Cheers all.